So today we shall discuss about the measurement of elasticity of supply on the supply curve through the geometric method. So there are basically two methods that we use to measure the elasticity of supply. So one is geometric method and the other one is percentage method. So now we shall discuss about the geometric method of measuring the elasticity of supply. So the question is, how do we measure the elasticity of supply of a point which is on the supply curve? So figure 11 SS is the supply curve that is given. So on the supply curve, point R is given here. So point R. So we have to measure the elasticity of supply at point R. So how do we do it? So before that, in the diagram, we are measuring quantity on the x-axis and price on the y-axis, and O is the origin. So SS supply curve is given, and at point R, we have to measure the elasticity of supply. So how to do it? So to measure the elasticity of supply at point R, the first step that we do is we extend this supply curve towards the x-axis, touching the x-axis at point T. So first we extend the supply curve towards the x-axis and last touching the x-axis at point T. So corresponding to point R, quantity supplied is OQ at price OP. So that is given. So as we have extended the supply curve, we can now obtain the elasticity of supply by dividing the distance between T, Q and OQ. So elasticity of supply can be obtained by dividing the distance between T, Q and OQ. So elasticity at last at point R will be given by TQ, that is TQ divided by OQ. So elasticity now at point R can be obtained, or it is given by TQ, distance of TQ divided by OQ. So that is how we measure the elasticity of supply at a point lying on a supply curve, and in our example it is at point R. So that is how we obtain the elasticity of supply at point R on the supply curve SS by dividing the distance between TQ and OQ. So that is geometric method. So as we have discussed in the previous chapter about elasticity of demand and all, so elasticity greater than 1, elasticity less than 1, or unitary elasticity. So the same thing is also there when it comes to supply or elasticity of supply. So let us consider figure 11. So figure 11, the supply curve, the supply curve when extended towards the x-axis, what we see is TQ is greater than OQ. So after extending the supply curve, what we have seen is TQ is greater than OQ. So the coefficient of the elasticity of the supply curve will be greater than 1. So since in figure 11 TQ is greater than OQ, elasticity is greater than 1. So again, let us consider figure 12. What do we see here? After extending the supply curve, TQ is less than OQ. So in figure 12, TQ is less than OQ. So the distance TQ is less than OQ. So in this figure 12, price elasticity of supply will be greater than 1. And consider figure 13. So what do we see here? The extension of the supply curve, touches exactly at the origin of the, diagram. So the extension is exactly touching at the origin. So this supply curve is exactly touching the origin. So in this case, TQ will be equal to OQ. So figure 13, where TQ equals to OQ, we will have a unitary elasticity of supply. So that is the three conditions that we have in the elasticity of supply: elasticity greater than 1, elasticity less than 1, and unitary elasticity, where elasticity of supply equals to 1. So these are the three cases or different cases of elasticity of supply, and we have just discussed how we got the different cases when it comes to elasticity. So figure 11 is the indication of elasticity greater than 1, figure 13 is elasticity less than 1, and figure 12, figure 13 is indicating elasticity which is equal to 1 or unitary elasticity. So in your book they have printed wrongly, so you will have to correct. So take note of this very carefully and correct yourself in the book, because in your book they have written mistakenly figure 12, figure 13, so they are all mixing up. So you look at this nicely and then correct it by yourself. So the next method that we have is percentage method. So elasticity of supply according to percentage method is given by percentage change in quantity supplied divided by the percentage change in price. So it is given like this: percentage change in quantity supplied, so since it is percentage, divided by percentage change in price. So it can be further written like this one and this one cut, and then what we have is change in Q divided by Q, and then here it should be price. Okay, since we are putting in 2, so this will come down and this P will go up. So at last what we have is change in Q by change in P into price by Q. So this is the formula for the elasticity of supply when it comes to percentage method. So you should remember this formula for your calculation. So let us see the example. So let us try to calculate the elasticity of supply. So if price of a refrigerator rises from rupees 5,000 per unit to rupees 5,200 per unit, and because of the increase in prices, quantity supply also increases. So it increases from 2,500 unit to 3,000 units. So what will be the elasticity of supply? So formula is given here: change in Q divided by change in price into price divided by Q. So change in quantity is 3,000 minus 2,500. So 3,000 minus 2,500, what we got is 500. So 500 is the change in quantity supplied because of the increase in the prices. What about change in price? Change in price is from 5,200 to 5,000. So from 5,200 and 5,000, what we have is 200. So 200 is the change in price. So let us put these values in the formula. So change in Q is 500, change in P is 200 into what is the price? Price is 5,000 initial price, and then initial quantity was 2,500. So when we divide this, we got 2.5, and then into, cut this to 0, and then 50 by 25. So what we have is 2. So 2. 2.5 into 2 equals to 5. So 5 is the elasticity of supply. So that is how we calculate the elasticity of supply through the percentage method. So the formula for elasticity of supply for percentage method is percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in prices. So that is how we measure the elasticity of supply through the percentage method.